Hi everyone, Donna here with Bookkeeping Made Simple. I am on, I think it's day 3 of my 1 year not missing a day challenge. And I'm really looking forward to this becoming a habit because once it's a habit, it's actually hard to stop doing it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about why I chose the small business startup solopreneur as my niche in accounting. And before I go too far with this, I would like to say, as always, if you enjoy this, please like, share, and subscribe. That really does help me grow my channels. We are on Spotify, which I'm really excited about, and on YouTube. And you can find us on my website at mysimplebookkeeping.com. I have a blog there that I'm going to kind of also publish on every day. Let's see how many days in a row I can do this. Consistency has always been really hard for me, unless it's something that I'm doing for somebody else. If I'm for my work where I get paid, I'm very, very consistent. For work which I'm doing to grow my business, I have a very hard time not allowing other things to interfere in this commitment. So there's a lot of learning and growth that's involved in all these videos, which is awesome. So today I want to focus my attention on why I chose the niche I did, which is the very small business, the startup, the solopreneur, the not quite the MLM distributors. Most of those have kind of built in. Well, most people who become distributors for MLM companies have they just don't succeed. They just don't. And the ones that do, they do tend to come to us. And we welcome them, but that's a very, very small number of the people that are in multi-level marketing. Not really, I'm not trying to bash on it. I'm just aware of how it really is. I live just south of Salt Lake City, which is the MLM center. It's MLM Central here. I live like 5 blocks from doTERRA, and 2 blocks, 2 cities over is Young Living and Zango, and the only thing that's not here, I think, is Amway. So I'm not trying to rip on MLMs at all. In fact, one of my clients has an MLM, and he truly loves doing it. So, but most people, most accounting firms, whether it's the Big Four, and the Big Four, in case you don't know, are, because I can't see without my glasses, I'm going to put them on. Deloitte, Ernst & Young, KPMG, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. And those 4 firms are responsible for auditing the books of almost all of the companies that are listed on the stock exchanges in the United States. In order to be listed on the stock exchange, you have to have audited financials, and these are the companies that do the audits. Arthur Andersen used to be in this list. Lehman Brothers, between Lehman Brothers and Enron, they got completely taken out, which really was a shame. And I'm going to talk, I have a long list of things I want to talk about in these videos, but I'm trying to keep them very, just me talking to you. So I'm not very good at this. I have been doing this for a few years, but I haven't been consistent, not used to this. And the idea is to publish every day. So, so the Big Four take care of almost all auditing for publicly traded companies in the United States. Now, keep in mind, I have said before in my other videos that the only people who can audit the books of a publicly traded company are certified public accountants, CPAs. That's the way it is. That is the only thing that they are truly, that's what they went into business for. Now, a lot of people use CPAs as their regular accountant, which is fine, except that CPAs tend to be expensive. And I started kind of looking at where the needs were and where the questions that I was getting were coming from. And they tend to come from brand new business owners who did the very same things that I did when I started my business. They fired themselves and they went to work for a complete idiot. Excuse me. They fired their boss and they went to go work for a complete idiot themselves. And I am just as guilty as anyone else. I've been told for years that I was this really strong leader. I don't really think I am. And I was told that, you know, I would make a great business owner. I grew up, my dad was an entrepreneur. His parents were entrepreneurs. So I come from, and their parents were entrepreneurs. And before that, the small business was the only kind of business there was. So I come from a long line of business owners, but that doesn't mean that I know anything about running a business. So I started really kind of investigating and looking into what was necessary and what it was that every single business owner that I knew was asking about. And they all were saying they were worried about being in compliance. In other words, they're worried about making sure they're fulfilling government requirements for reporting. Almost all of them mentioned quarterly taxes, which I should write down as something to do again, quarterly taxes. So I want to do a video on that. All of them have said they want to be audit proof. And they don't feel like they know what they're doing when it comes to dealing with the state. Now, the reason I mention that is because if you are someone like Elon Musk, and you have, or you are Chevron, or you are Apple, or you are Microsoft, or you are Walmart, you have armies, and I mean armies of lawyers and accountants to answer every single question that could come down the line, who examine every single contract you think about getting into, who make sure that you are taken care of. Armies of people, literally. They pay millions of dollars a year to have these professionals there to read their contracts, to interpret their financials, to talk to them about what they need. Every single person in upper management has at least an MBA. If they don't have a DBA or a doctorate of business administration. By the way, that's one of the degrees that Shaquille O'Neal has, because he was smart enough to realize that as a brand new NBA star, he didn't know how to run his money. So he went into business administration, and he's doing fantastic. But he's kind of one of my heroes. I really like Shaq. If I could interview him for this show, that would be a dream connection. But you know, he's an unusual person. He realized he was coming into a lot of money and decided to go back to school to learn how to handle all the money that he was going to be receiving. Now, most of us who are small business owners, we're bootstrapping, right? We are praying that we can make payroll. We are stressing over credit card bills because that's how we're paying for our marketing. We are watching our marketing campaigns absolutely like a hawk because we don't have enough money for a failed campaign. We are, you know, stretching ourselves so thin. I mean, I'm in the studio today on a Saturday recording this, partly so I make sure that I do my publish every day thing, and partly because I don't have time to do it during the week. And so it's the entrepreneurs that are working from, I laugh and say, most people work from 9 to 5, entrepreneurs work from 5 to 9. And I mean from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. And I've had more than one day like that. I don't like those days. They usually hit right about tax time. But that's the fact. And that's how it is for most entrepreneurs, where even though I am particular with my staff about, you go home at the end of the day and you close the door to your office and you're done. Don't answer, the phones are off, you know, don't answer the phone, don't respond to emails, because I want them to have that boundary between work life and personal life, whether or not they're working remotely or whether they're working in their office. I don't want them tethered to a phone 24 hours a day or a computer 24 hours a day. I don't think it's good for people. And I don't ask it of my employees. My cat is out the window wanting to be let back into the house. She's gonna have to wait a minute. So I figured if the big businesses have armies of attorneys and accountants that are waiting and proactively taking care of recording transactions, interpreting transactions, running reports, explaining what those reports need, coming up with custom reports. They're the ones that, I mean, they make sure that the inventory gets counted at the end of the year. They do everything, and they have a very regimented schedule because there's a lot of things that are deadlines set by the government. But they're big businesses. They are established. Most small businesses fail in the first 5 years. And I am a huge proponent of small business. By that, I mean, I like to see in American Fork, there's a restaurant called Mi Ranchito. A couple of my friends own it. Their families own it. They are from the same hometown as my ex-husband from Mexico. We love them, and I love seeing that they're doing their own thing. They've had these restaurants for decades, and it benefits the community and it benefits the family. And that's what small business really is about. We don't all want, I get frustrated when I go to the other side of the country. When I went to Washington, D.C. for the 4th of July, I was so excited, and it was the same stale, repetitive crap on TV, the same shows, the same news, the same colors, the same, everything was the same. It's like we all live in this cookie cutter world, and I'm not a big fan of everything being the same, and small business is our way out of that. Either because one of two things is going to happen. Either small businesses are going to be purchased and swallowed up by the big conglomerates, or small businesses are going to really save us. They're going to be the ones who show that there's other ways of doing things. Small businesses are the innovators. Apple was an innovator as long as it was a small business. It skyrocketed, and where's the next cool thing since the iPhone? There's not any. What, earbuds? They have a fancy, very expensive thin laptop that doesn't excite me because it's $1,200 for that laptop, or $300 for the same laptop that runs Windows. And I'm I don't spend money for the sake of spending money. So my thought was, how can I, as an accountant, help the most people achieve success? And you wouldn't think that an accountant could do that. I mean, really, what do? I count. It's in the name. I count money, and I'd take two if I'm going to explain accounting badly, I take two columns of numbers, I add them up and see if the sum is the same. But I also explain to business owners, you're showing on your P&L that you're in profit, but your cash flow is upside down. So what do we need to do to reverse that? Because you need to be in positive cash flow. I also believe that it is my job to help my clients reduce their tax burden as much as possible. And that's been, it's not the easiest thing in the world. And so I talk to them about that a great deal. Again, because the big companies, they have whole armies. They're not doing their tax returns at H&R Block, okay? They have whole armies of CPAs that are lined up to make sure that their taxes are being done correctly. It doesn't necessarily mean they are being done correctly, but they have whole armies lined up for that. They have, if they're on the stock exchange, they have to have their financials audited every year. And that's often a 3-month process, or longer, depending on the size of the firm. But they have to have their financials audited every year. The small business owner doesn't do that. They can't. They can't. There's only 168 hours in a week, and most of us are working 100 of them. So my thought was, I will have the army of accountants that is ready for the small business owner to call upon. We will take care of your bookkeeping. We will take care of your reports. We will show you how to do any reporting, or we'll do it for you. We have different tiers of service. We will help you get your payroll stuff set up. We will help you look at the tax laws and understand how to make them work for your benefit. Remember, the tax law is the same for everybody. The tax code works for everybody. But you have to know how to work it. So my job and my staff's job is not just to put transactions into the accounting software, it's to help you understand what those numbers mean for your business. You know, if I give you an income statement, do you know what it means? I have had a lot of clients question the balance sheet. They don't understand what a balance sheet is or what it means. So that's my goal. My goal is to be the stop for small businesses, and by small, I do mean the SBA. The SBA's definition of a small business is that they run less than 100 million in revenue and have less than 100 employees, or less than 500 employees. And any business that size or smaller, all the way down to Mary down the street who's selling Amway for the first time, I can help them. I can help them stay out of trouble. I can help them do what needs to be done. Now, the other half of that, however, is that a lot of small business owners, because they have so much on their plate, okay, they are trying to be if you're in this position, you know what I mean. They're trying to be a good mom or dad. They're trying to be a good son, daughter, sibling, spouse. They're trying to be good at their personal relationships. They're trying to be a really good business person. They're trying to make money. They're trying to recreate. They're trying, I mean, there's a lot that's going on in our lives today. And thinking about reporting is not really high on most people's lists. In fact, most people I know, when they start getting a bunch of tax notices, they kind of freeze. They either get mad, you know, because they got a notice, or they freeze and somehow forget how to read because it's coming from a taxing authority, and that's scary, and that's completely understandable. Or they run, you know, they try to pretend it didn't exist. And our job is to help with all of that. One, we don't want you to be getting notices from the taxing authorities, especially ones that start off with scary things. Two, we want to make sure your books are in order so that if some amazing opportunity drops in your lap, we want you to be able to take advantage of it. And one of the ways to do that is to make sure that your books are in order. This is like, by the way, it's like depending on, this is the septic tank cleaning of the business world. Nobody likes accounting. Nobody thinks accounting is glamorous. Nobody thinks it's, I mean, I enjoy it, but I'm weird. This is not the thing that most people want to do in their business or for their business, but it has to be done. And these conversations have to occur. And it's not that we're out to hammer anybody, but we want you to understand what's going on in your business, because the whole purpose of business is to do math for profit. And we help you with the math so you can get the profit. I think that's all I want to talk about today. This will be up on my website at mysimplebookkeeping.com in the blog section. It will be up on Spotify in a few days. I have been uploading all of my YouTube videos to Spotify, one a day, so it's going to be a couple of months before we're synced up again. And of course, it'll be on YouTube at our channel, Bookkeeping Made Simple. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. If you have any thoughts or ideas or questions for me, please drop them in the comments before I promise to read them, and possibly even do a video answering your questions. At this point, I have been in the accounting industry for 20 years. Most of that has been either in a partnership or self-employed. So I have been, I've made all the mistakes, and those are the ones I want to tell you about. And that's it for today. Thanks so much, you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.